Plus. Yes, this one is something you should pay attention to. It's very different in terms of specs compared to the regular Tab S9. So what do we have? Now we know this device starts at $449, much cheaper for a Tab S device. So that's good to see. Specs, what do we get? We get a 12.4-inch display, 90 Hertz refresh rate. We have a resolution of 1600 by 2560 here. And this is an IPS LCD panel and not an OLED panel. So it definitely looks different, but still vibrant. One of the main things, this is running an Exynos 1380 processor. Yes, and it comes with either 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM, 128 up to 256. But here's the caveat, you can expand that with micro SD up to 1 terabyte. And I put in a 512 gigabyte micro SD card into this bad boy, which is great. Now, some will not, so it just all depends, but at least it's good enough for your storage, especially if you get the 128 gigabyte version of this device. Now you've got Wi-Fi 6 on here, which is great to see, and Bluetooth 5.3, so good connectivity for your controllers, like your Xbox controller while you're gaming. 90 milliamp battery. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the benchmarks first before we get into some of our. Looking at Geekbench 6, and our single core benchmarks are 995. I haven't seen that in a while. So this is definitely a mid-tier device, and you should bear that in mind while you're gaming. Multi-core 2817. Very different in terms of stats here for gaming, but still though, it feels like this device should be able to do some quality gaming for us. Call of Duty is the game we like to play, and you can see our settings here. We have low max. It's not the highest settings possible, but it allows us to get some really smooth gameplay on there while gaming. 60 frames per second, very solid all the way through. You have no slowdowns anyway. PUBG Mobile. Now you can see PUBG Mobile, not a lot of settings are available. Again, this Exynos processor. And you can see here clearly where we're getting 30 frames per second on our settings here with HD. Still good. Plays well. Of course, I died quite a bit, so you get the idea of what this thing can actually do. Now, before we go ahead to Genshin Impact, let's listen to some audio off the speakers here. We've got dual speakers on each side of this device. So let's see what we get in terms of just the gaming audio, and as well as also music off the system.
Be advised, hostile sentry gun spotted. Changing mag.
Genshin, I did try to run it at its max setting, 60 frames per second, and trust me, don't even try that. It dropped down to 30 frames here, as you can see with our Geek benchmark scores for this device. So it's best to play it actually at low settings, 30 frames per second, and it runs well. This is not a device built for that, and you will not get that kind of performance. Now, because of course, it running at low settings for pretty much most of the games here, what we actually get in terms of temperatures is outstanding. It doesn't heat up at all, unless of course you're trying to max out Genshin, which I just had to stop. But temperatures stayed relatively cool all the way through my gameplay session. So that's something to definitely take note. Of course, this is a device that I think cloud gaming will benefit the most from, especially with the Wi-Fi 6 connectivity and also Bluetooth 5.3. Able to connect my Xbox controller, jump into Xbox Game Pass, and definitely jump in and start playing some games. Now, of course, Forza Horizon 5 was great to play. I wish I could play Forza Motorsports. Not yet, but game played well. Use the same controller and enjoy gameplay on Call of Duty Mobile. So that was actually great to see. Now, watching video and content on here is great. But I do like the fact that it comes with an S Pen. So you've got all